Okay, that is like super interesting to me.
It was interestingly unexciting.
And Simon, I'm just gonna say, this makes no sense to me.
It sounds very complicated. They just bought Solana.
But if Eric Trump is bullish on crypto, sell immediately. Top signal.
You might wake up some childhood trauma.
There's a lot of people online who have just been clowning the shit out of him.
Welcome to Sol Brothers, the finest podcast on Solana, with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it's our job to throw you into the Solami rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to keep you on top of the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, I also really love salami with a little bit of bread and cheese. You know, it's delicious. A little afternoon
pizza.
stack.
Yeah, Italian salami pizza.
Yeah.
Salami is going wild. Today we have some sheet on the agenda, which is actually very interesting. Some technical stuff. We're going to talk about 100,000 transactions per second. 100,000 transactions per second on the Solana blockchain, which we achieved just over the weekend, I think, on the 17th of August or on the 16th of August, something around that. So basically just now, so we're going to talk a little bit about that and what that means for Solami.
Mm-hmm.
And we also going to talk about prices, about charts. We're going to look at the silly dump that just happened last night, and we're going to try to make sense of that and tell you guys where is Solana going to stop dumping if it does, and where it might reclaim a reversal. So we need to make sense of a little bit of the markets as well. And then we have a load of Solana news from projects all around the ecosystem that is all from last week. So much stuff is happening, It's really, I think, one podcast recording per week is almost not enough to cover all that stuff, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not. In fact, we're thinking about implementing some changes to the podcast that we might talk about a little bit later. But first of all, congratulations to Solana for hitting over 100,000 TPS, which is a first in chain history. But of course, we'll go a little bit deeper into that in just a second, and we'd like to settle into the most cozy part of the podcast. Simon, will you please bless us with your beautiful, beautiful technical analysis? What the fuck is going on in the markets right now, my friend?
Well, I woke up today and I was like, damn, I kind of saw it coming, but I hope that it won't happen. As per usual. So we're looking at the Bitcoin chart right now to begin with, to kind of start with the biggest coin out there. Obviously, we had a good run to the new all-time high for the third time this year, and we reached 125,000 this time as the all-time high, almost 124,500, depending on the chart you're looking at. And we completed a 5-wave move to the upside on the Bitcoin chart. And then from the 125, this is a pivotal point. Like, we really need to break the 120 to 125 right now if you want to shoot higher in the cycle. Technically, without scaring anyone here, we fulfilled the requirements for a bull market top. So a reversal could technically happen at any moment. But if you zoom in a little bit at the charts, then you will see that it's not 100% fulfilled yet. Like, I would like to see a larger push to the upside here on the Bitcoin chart in the 130-35 region at least, because this would fulfill this the broader 1 to 3 4 5 setup here that I'm tracking. So we did the wave 4 at $75,000 this year in April, this low, and now we're pushing in a fifth wave to the upside, and the extension for that should be higher than what we've seen right now. But anyway, looking at the charts now over the weekend, what happened was not only Bitcoin, also Solana experienced another decline after last week's first decline from the high. And right now, technically on the Bitcoin chart, we should reverse. So just based on TA, this is a nice level to reverse from. Why? Because from the top, we did an A, a B, and a C to the downside. We could, like, the B wave wasn't really that high. So either we're going to go up from here and further down, or we're going to recover from here where we're at right now, $115,000 on the Bitcoin chart, the 0.786 fib level from this Tuesday 5 of August low to the 125K high that we had. And Solana looks very similar. Like if we look at the Solana chart, it's a bit cleaner in my opinion than Bitcoin as of this stage. We're just kind of hitting the 350 moving average on my chart, where we kind of found some support right now. The RSI is highly overbought, so we're definitely in a range. If you look at the RSI here, which indicates kind of oversold territory. Whenever, like this is the level we're at right now, we're looking at RSI from 25. And whenever we were at an RSI of 25, what happened after? You don't have to be a magician to kind of know what the fuck's happening. Like we went up, right? Not forever, like that we could go up from here and then pull a bit deeper, because there is another level that I'm watching, which is the 176 right now for Solana. We could technically pull down all the way to 167, but ideally, if we do another pullback, then 176 would be what I'm looking at right now. And then from there, we fulfilled the ABC, the 3-wave down correction, and we could push in a third wave to the upside, because I'm counting this first push here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as a wave 1, which we fulfilled all the kind of requirements we have fulfilled. We reached the fib levels that I was looking for. Now we're pulling back into wave 2. And as I said, I think either now or 176 could be a reversal. But to finish off, macro is hovering over us. And there is some fundamental macro, let's say, risks out there. Today, I believe Trump is going to meet with Zelensky in the USA. And they're going to continue the conversations about a potential peace between Ukraine and Russia. The US is trying to facilitate that. And there was already a meeting between Putin and Trump on the weekend, on Friday, in Alaska. Have you seen that? Have you heard about that meeting?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so it was, I don't know, it was interestingly unexciting. Like nothing really came out of it. I feel like they didn't really answer any questions from reporters. They just, gave.
But I mean, statement. Is that really all that strange for President Trump? I mean, like his MO is very much overpromise, underdeliver on every summit. I mean, like I can name several, right? Like we're talking about the summit that he had with Kim Jong-un over in Singapore a few years ago. He was going to, create a peace the world has never seen before. And, it was just very much nothing, right? Like there was no agreement that was signed with the North Koreans. He said before in the past that, like, if I was president, Russia would never dream to invade Ukraine. And like, he's in the room with Putin, and obviously hasn't made any progress there at all. He said that he was going to resolve trade disputes with China. With China, I am a master negotiator. And like, look where we're at with China right now. I mean, it's not like we have any strategic advantage over China. So it's just like this is just a history. I mean, it's not all that surprising. Whether it comes to Xi Jinping or Putin or Kim Jong-un.
At least it seems to me like we're coming to some sort of a conclusion of this war after 3 years of fighting in the Ukraine. I think people just, like, everyone involved just wants to make it happen, at least more than 2 years ago. I feel like, people like the NATO is tired, the European Union is tired, Russia is like, I think they just want to get this over with. Obviously, Ukraine wants to get it over with. The US wants to get it. Like everyone is they just want to stop it, but obviously they have their interests, right? Everyone has their own interests, so they're trying to get the best deal out of it. So Russia is asking for probably some land that Ukraine doesn't want to give them. So I mean, Sol Brothers is not like a highly political podcast, so we don't want to go into the depth here. But
I mean, like, okay, putting politics aside, one thing that confuses me a little bit is like, why would, like, from just a macro perspective, right? Like, why would the war in Ukraine, instigated by Russia, affect Bitcoin prices? Like, I actually understand why tariffs would affect Bitcoin prices, like global trade and the capital that people like, and because Bitcoin is like the premier crypto asset, like that would get hit because most people are just pulling their investments in general, right? But now that we're in like year 3 of this war, I'm just wondering, like, what are your feelings on like why this war has an impact on crypto macro?
War is always bad for economy. I mean, for certain parts of the economy. For others, it's good. But overall, war is moving markets, right? And peace is moving markets. So a peace deal and some sort of certainty around the political situation in Europe would definitely lead to a recovery rally, in my opinion, on S&P, on Nasdaq, on Bitcoin, on all major assets that pull liquidity in. So I just believe that we want to see that certainty, because the markets hate uncertainty, and war is always uncertain as fuck. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. It could be, World War III. Like, people were always like throwing this word around, right? So the more we distance ourselves from all these kind of scenarios, the more stable we are in macroeconomically. I think the more breathing room we give the markets to move. Is it going to print a new all-time high only because of a peace deal? Probably not, right? We need more catalysts for that. But it has so many trickle-down effects. I think if they find a peace deal, it might influence all kinds of other decisions globally when it comes to fiscal policies and monetary policies and so on. So TLDR, I think it's going to move markets. So I'm actually looking. I don't know what to expect from the meeting today with Zelensky, but I think it will either be neutral, right? That is probably the most plausible, the most realistic scenario right now when it comes to probabilities, kind of neutral, like without any huge outcome for now, I think. And then the second most plausible, I think, would be that they make some progress, at least in my opinion. But also, I see the comments where Will is saying it's priced in already. Of course, right? Like, at least the uncertainty is priced in already. Maybe that was the dump right now, but that could flip if something positive comes out of that meeting now. That could spark this recovery rally, which is kind of due just looking at the markets, right? Like, indicators right now in the markets, they are screaming long positions. It's just always dangerous, right? Because you don't want to catch the falling knife. Right now, it's just falling. So opening a long right now is risky. If you're still stuck in longs, then just give it some breathing room, maybe, and extend the margin a little bit, because I think it could be volatile. Yeah. But technically, we should reverse from now. Only if we break the $167 for Solana, I think then we have to look back at the charts and reiterate a little bit. We might pull back a bit deeper then.
I honestly think that the most likely outcome is neutral to negative, because from the Ukrainians' perspective, like, they have a lot to lose, but they're also just not willing to cede land, and I think that's their right. They're not going to be willing to give a foot of land over to the Ruskies. So the most likely outcome is that they basically tell Trump, because Trump is going to try to do is threaten the Ukrainians to say, like, we're going to cease all military aid. And if it really comes to that, I think Zelensky and the Ukrainians can be like, all right, well, fuck you then. We're just going to ask for help from the Europeans. Obviously, the European bloc is not going to be able to provide as many ammunitions as well as equipment to Ukraine to continue their war. But at the same time, like, it's a principled stance, and I don't think they're willing to cede ground, with or without. Like, of course, they're going to. Ukraine is going to beg the U.S. for ammunitions and for equipment for as long as they can, until the U.S. basically says no. Hopefully, they can outlast Trump, and the next administration is a little bit more supportive of the Ukrainians without using it as a stick, their own political devices. But yeah, that seems like the most likely outcome for me. I don't imagine any scenario in which the Ukrainians accept a deal that requires them to give up land. And even if they do, it's going to be, I just really doubt it. Not for what Russia's asking for, not at this point in time.
It's true that, I mean, these kind of things, they will influence prices, but we just can't do anything about it. This is above our pay grade. We can't influence it. But what we can influence, is how the Solana blockchain on a technical level evolves and moves forward, because that's up to the builders, that's up to all of us. And I think the builders have been quite successful, because they reached 107,664 transactions per second, with actually a single block doing almost half of these transactions when this happened. And to give a little bit of context here, I mean, when Solana started, the promise was Ethereum killer, right? Like, Ethereum was this big shiny blockchain, lots of assets already, lots of liquidity in it. And then we had the Ethereum killer, Solana, out of nowhere, raising money early 2019, I think 2020. And they just said, we're going to do 50,000 to 65,000 transactions per second. That's what we're aiming for. That's our goal. And they went out with this, and they fucking failed. The blockchain failed, like outages happened. Solana crashed once in a while. And at peak, it kind of found its place in like 1,000 to 1,500 transactions per second, which is still better than 30 transactions per second, which Ethereum mainnet is doing. But still, it wasn't the vision, right? It wasn't what Solana wants to do really. But now, at 100,000 transactions per second, Solana could process all of Visa's daily transactions in under 10 minutes. Which is pretty insane. So we're really trying to fucking flip legacy tech. We're really trying to flip payments coming from Visa, financial markets coming from Nasdaq, with tech built on Solana. And I think even though this was a test environment, if I'm not mistaken, even though this 100,000 transactions per second was still a so-called NOOP, a non-operations execution, or however the fuck you call it. So it was not fully actually used. It was not real transactions. It still gives us the guarantee that theoretically we can do it, right? Theoretically we can reach 100,000. I believe FireDancer has been playing in here already. Like they probably used some FireDancer tech, even though FireDancer is not fully in production yet, and only less than 10% of the validators on Solana actually running FireDancer. But FireDancer is promising us more than 1 million transactions per second. And now we've thrown around a lot of large numbers, but I think this is pretty meaningful for Solana, isn't it? What's your take on this?
Yeah, no, it's extremely meaningful. I was actually looking at a bit of the data, because you would know, running your own validator, that quite a few transactions are actually vote transactions, right? From validators. I mean, not quite a few, but I mean, like there are. So I was just looking at the breakdown, and this is very, very, very impressive. Just Solana as a network, like the amount of TPS that we have is a direct reflection of the amount of activity on the network. And so this is just all extremely, extremely bullish for Solana. And before we move on to our next topic, I actually have one little question that I'd love to ask, which is brought up by our good friend Will, and for whatever reason we just don't have this in the show notes. But thoughts on the Seeker, Simon? How are you feeling about the Seeker?
The Solana Seeker is being shipped right now. For everyone who doesn't know it yet, get the fuck out of your stone that you live under. The Seeker is the second version of Solana's mobile phone. I think probably the most passionate project that the Solana founder Anatoly has kicked off here. He's very passionate about that phone. And the Seeker is the newest version of it. It started shipping on the 4th of August, and it's actually pretty fucking positive. When I look at the tweets from people, like, people take it pretty positive. So I saw a few reviews, I saw a few YouTube videos, and people were like impressed by the tech, by the hardware. They say it's a solid phone at a very good price point. It's cheaper than the Saga, the first one. It comes with its own native token, the SKR, which we don't have too many details right now, but there will be a TG of that token as well, involved with the phone launch. But I can't say more now because I don't have the fucking phone yet. I'm still waiting for the confirmation that it's being delivered. And even if I see that confirmation, I still won't be able to get my hands on it, because it's going to be delivered to Germany, and I don't know whenever the fuck I'm going to be there next. So I got to find someone with a Seeker to take a look closely somewhere in Asia. So maybe
Yes.
I don't know if you get one.
Yeah, I mean, well, we gotta maybe steal a couple of Seekers from our friends over in Japan, and we'll get our hands over on them and over in Tokyo, and we'll play with them maybe on when we're I'm gonna see you very soon. Aren't you already in? Well, no, you're not in Japan yet, but you're gonna be in Japan very soon, ain't you?
Yes, I'm flying out on Tuesday, and Boop is saying, "Did you get your Seeker yet, Simon?" Just gonna give him the middle finger. I don't know if that's a serious question or if he wants to tease me, but no, I haven't. I haven't. I'm waiting.
Boop is like, "What I do, man? Relax. What the fuck? I'm just the intern."
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of I don't know if it's sad news, but a little hiccup in our quest to get a spot Solana ETF. So the SEC has delayed decisions on 4 Solana spot ETFs, which includes Van Neck, Canary Marinade, Solana ETF, Bitwise Invest, as well as 21 shares. I really appreciated this exchange through community member Himura. I fucking love Himura. Great guy. And he asked, like, isn't this just to satisfy the rules of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange trading for 6 months? And then Matt Siegel replied, I wouldn't read too much into it. Still working through operations. Aim is to launch with in-kind, create, redeem, and staking. So these are more complex products. All good. Good to know. Thank you very much. So it looks like this is just very much par for the course. For people who don't know what the CME is, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is the main exchange for like kind of options. So it could be somewhat tied to that. Like they want to provide options products related to the Solana spot ETFs. I don't really know if that's the logic or what rules are in place there. I'm not a scholar of the CME, but this all looks very much like not a huge deal. It's not like there's an issue here.
Okay, so I guess for us, just a little small step back when it comes to the ETF launch for Solana, but nothing to worry about yet. I think it takes a bit more time, and I think we saw similar processes involved when it came to the Bitcoin ETF, the very first one, and the Ethereum ETF. Like it was not a straight line when it came to getting this out. It had some ups and downs and some delays. So let's stay calm and wait for the Solana ETF. It is not out yet, but you know what's out, what's already live right now is the
I do know what's out.
Finance mobile wallet. What are we looking at? What is that? What is first of all, what is Step Finance? Let's begin with for people that don't know. And then what are they building here? Can you give some context?
Yeah, so Step Finance started as a dashboard for all of your DeFi needs. So you can kind of think of Step Finance as like a competitor to Jupiter Portfolio, or at the time, what was do you remember what Guillaume's the name of the company that acquired by Jupiter that became the Jupiter Portfolio? I forget what the
Yeah, sorry, Sonar Watch, sorry.
Sonar Watch, right. Sonar Watch was acquired by Jupiter, which eventually became Jupiter Portfolio, which in my opinion is like the best way to track all your DeFi positions, in Solana. But Step Finance is also has been building on Solana for a very, very long time. And I think in the very beginning, it was more geared towards NFTs. It was more of like an NFT dashboard. And there was such a thing a long time ago as NFT DeFi, which is like super weird to think about now, because like the idea of like getting leverage on your NFTs or even like borrowing and lending NFTs is just like very funny to me now. But at that time, like it was a very hot concept. And so Step Finance helped you understand your like NFT DeFi positions. They have since expanded to like all different DeFi positions that you could have. And now Step Wallet is, I think, a evolution in their product suite. What do you know about Step Wallet?
Yeah, so basically, first of all, Step Finance, very long-lasting project, right, on Solana, as you say. So that's like to give people the background here on Step. They've been around for a long time, building like all the time. I think a little bit of side fact or fun fact about Step, which is totally not verified information, just something out of my circle. I think they did some really successful treasury management, let's say, when they raised a bunch of money pretty well, and then they also did some very smart decisions when it comes to deploying that capital into assets. Sounds very complicated. They just fucking bought Solana, and then they waited, and Solana went like up a lot. And I think their fundraise that they initially did, quadrupled or whatever. I literally have no idea about the actual numbers here, just a story I heard. So I think they just did some very smart decisions when it comes to getting their treasury up over the years and benefiting from the Solana race basically in the past years. So it pays to be early. They've been early. They deployed their capital. They had a little bit of install. The Step Finance mobile wallet is now basically one of the apps that you can get from the Seeker app store directly on your Seeker phone, and you can use it, and you can track your portfolio. You have the whole portfolio functions in there, and you can also deploy your capital in some yield strategies. So with just a few clicks, you get yield on your holdings, which is also really cool. There's a news feed in the app as well, so that you always have the latest news when it comes to Solana. Overall, looks like a really cool product. I want to try it out on my Seeker, so I'm still waiting for my Seeker.
Yeah. And as much as I love our friends over at Step Finance, including George, I feel like it's worth sharing this one exchange that I had with Xiang over the weekend, which is, uh, you know, learning from users again, like what's the number one reason stopping you from using Jupiter Mobile? And like I was pretty honest about this because I've been pretty pissed with Jupiter Mobile for a little while because they don't have a fucking browser extension. Like, bro, how many times have I talked about this fucking browser extension, Simon? It's like this has to be like the fourth, fifth, sixth time that I've talked about it. I've talked about it with Fubu when he was at Jupiter. I've talked about it with Cash. I've talked about it with like all the powers that be. And then Xiong is finally being like, okay, like what is missing from the Jupiter mobile experience? It's like, motherfucker, if you just could give me a browser extension experience, then I could finally use Jupiter mobile as my main. And he claimed coming soon. I also played golf last Friday with Soju, and I interrogated him about this feature, and he confirmed that the browser extension for Jupiter Mobile is coming very, very soon. So if you are a Jupiter Mobile user, but you've been missing this desktop experience and being able to connect to all your favorite dApps, we can assure you that this experience is coming very, very soon. So yeah, I'm very bullish on this, and I'll finally be able to switch to using Jupiter Mobile as my main. Finally.
Let's go. It's coming. It took a while, but it's coming.
Yeah. And just wondering in general, like, what is your main right now? Is it Soulflare?
Yes, pretty much. I'm using both Soulflare, Droop, and Phantom pretty actively.
Mhm.
Have a backpack as well, not using it super actively. Have a MetaMask as well with Solana, not using it super actively. But I think my probably the most used wallet right now is Soulflare, because I have the extension both like on my Chrome and on my phone. But I also actually imported the private key of one of my Soulflare wallets in my Jupe wallet, so that I can use my
Yeah,
Jupe wallet for some of the DeFi apps.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying it all out.
Yeah, to each their own. Like I've used Soulflare since like day one of being on Solana, and like wallet products are extremely sticky. And so in order for you to like, but the thing that might make me go back to Soulflare is that they got the card.
Right.
Soulflare card is going
Yeah,
to be coming out soon,
it's
and
coming. Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
eventually, I think that the wallets will get at a point where everything is a commodity. The card is a commodity. The browser extension should obviously be like, come on, Jupiter, like that's a commodity. Like you
Mm.
absolutely need the browser extension. Like just everything need like these are all just table stakes. If you don't have them, then like you can't claim that you're building like the best wallet. But everyone is trying to build out their edge. So for Soulflare, it's going to be this card. They're moving on that faster than any other wallet. And for Jupiter, it's going to be portfolio because I think Jupiter's portfolio product is actually better than any other product that's out there. And because they're Jupiter, they're able to do like a bunch of like DeFi claim mechanisms, whether it be like
Mm.
airdrops that you've forgotten about or just DeFi positions in general that other products are just not going to be able to do. They just don't have the BD or the reach to do it as comprehensively as Jupiter does. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to see who's going to win the wallet arms race. Like we're obviously using like all the different wallets, but yeah, I want Jupiter to win super badly, but I just need the product to catch up with the size of their ambition.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, you're wearing the Soulflare
Yeah.
merch right now.
Will said I'm wearing my Sulfur jersey. Will, I know that you saw this tweet because you commented on it earlier on the weekend. Is I need
Mhm.
Jupiter athletic wear. Okay, this is not my problem. I hosted Cat Istanbul and I still don't have Cat Istanbul merch. What the fuck does that tell you? Okay, so if I had more Jupiter merch, I would definitely wear it, but I don't, and it's Singapore, so I'm not going to wear a cotton T-shirt. So if anybody can get me, are we gonna fight? We're gonna fight, bro. What the
Mm.
fuck? Not if Simon is there. That's fucking unfair. Yeah, I know. I get that. But I
I
need
don't want to take a
Jupiter
side here,
athletic wear ASAP. I'll take a side. I'm on Jupiter's side. It's just y'all motherfuckers aren't making the merch that I need. So,
but fair point.
yeah. Yes. Okay. So yeah, absolutely. I do want Jupiter to win this fight against the wallets. different wallet products. And congratulations to our friends George and the rest of the team over at Step Finance. They are doing a lot of like Step Finance's competitive advantage is actually in emerging markets. Like that's the one thing that other projects don't have. They have distribution in Nigeria as well as
Mm.
Argentina and like all these different kind of like because they have it's called All Stars because Step Group owns like a bunch of different products, which includes Solana Floor, which includes the All Stars, which is kind of like a competitor to Super Team,
Mm.
and then Step
Mm.
Wallet, right? It's interesting to see that they have their own kind of shadow network that's separate from like the mainstream, but they still have quite a bit of adoption outside of what most people would consider to be like what most people are using.
Mm.
Different distribution.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Cool. Moving on.
So what do we got?
What else
Yeah, what do we
do we
got
got?
next? Ooh, we have the first institutional SOL holdings tracker, which is live. It's called SSR. It's in the
Mm.
Bloomberg terminal for Solana institutional
Mm.
adoption. So current institutional SOL holdings tracked by SSR, total holdings 5.9 million SOL, which is over a billion SOL. That is not trivial at all. That's also coincidentally about the size of the Jupiter validator because Jupiter is fucking so Jupiter basically has as much SOL
Mm.
as all of these different DATs, these digital asset treasuries, which includes Apexi, DFDV, Mercurity, iSpecimen, Sol Strategies, Classover, and now Artello, which I've never heard of before. But that's really interesting. Basically, this is just a way to
Mm.
measure all the digital asset treasuries on Solana.
Mm-hmm. Which is a trend, right? Like it's kind of a trending topic right now that comes up after after MicroStrategy kind of set the tone with their first digital asset treasury company, which was MicroStrategy for Bitcoin. Now we have a bunch
Yeah.
of companies that jump on the train for Ethereum, and we have a bunch of companies that jump on the train for Solana as well. I think we also saw some news coming out of the Bonk ecosystem because I think Nom joined the board of directors of one of these digital asset treasury companies as well for Bonk itself, which is also very interesting. So we
Yep.
don't see it only for Solana, we also see it for the first Solana-based tokens.
Okay, that is like super interesting to me. So like they got I think a 20% I could be super wrong about this, but I think it was a 20% stake in a energy drink company called Sure Shot. And like by
Yeah.
the way, for those of you who don't know what a digital asset treasury is, like the most common play is to find a distressed company that is has their stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange, or like let's say the Korea Stock Exchange, or even like Japan or like Europe, wherever it may be. But you buy a company that's in a distressed position and is willing to share, that was willing to sell majority shares or a significant portion of their shares to an investor. This investor then has enough influence on the board of directors to then tell the company what to buy for their treasury, that's why like MicroStrategies has like such a weird name, because originally it was just a software development company. It was not like a Bitcoin accumulation company, because the process by which you would have to take to start a company that's listed on the New York Stock Exchange and all the due diligence that you have to do in order to take it from zero to execution is too long. And so it's
Yeah.
faster for people to just buy majority shares in existing companies. So for in this example,
Mm.
it would be Sure Shot, this energy drink company based out of Jupiter,
Mm.
Florida, which is, not a coincidence, by the way. It's very interesting. But yeah, there is a town called Jupiter, Florida that has their
Really?
HQ. They has a company with their
I
HQ
didn't know
there.
that.
Yeah. Well, but also Jupiter, Florida is kind of the golf capital of the United States. So a lot of pros that like do their training over in
Wow.
Jupiter, but that's not the point. Um, actually, you
Interesting
know
side
what? We
fact.
should totally have the next Cat's Bull over in Florida. Like Jupiter, we'll do it in Jupiter, Florida, like the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
Jupiter event. That'd be
Right?
actually kind of sick.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be
Um,
hilarious.
but yeah, so Bonk got some bought I think a portion of the company. Nam is now on the board of directors, and they have about
Yeah.
$25 million worth of bonk that they're going to accumulate in the short term. And by the end of the year, they're aiming for, I think, $100 million worth of bonk in the reserve. So like that's super interesting. You can get exposure to the Bonk asset without having to buy Bonk on chain, or even like buying it through a brokerage. You can just buy it through shares, and then you would track it through. I think you've heard of this before, but it's kind of like Bitcoin per shares. In the case of
Mm-hmm.
MicroStrategies, like that's kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
metric. So in this case, it would be Bonk per share,
Interesting.
which is like kind of funny.
That's very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. We didn't see that coming like a couple years back, but but these things are here now. We have digital asset
Yeah.
treasury companies listed on the stock exchange that are accumulating Bonk tokens, and Solana now as well, with the SSR tracking everything when it comes to Solana. There's even a Telegram mini app, by the way, for to track institutional Sol holdings via these strategic Solana reserves. So also something people can check out if they want to take a look at this data. What else we got, Eno?
Yeah. We have Circle, which we've covered this
Mm-hmm.
before in previous weeks, but like now they've written a full ass thread about it, so I guess it's worth covering one more time. They are releasing ARC, which they call the home for stablecoin finance. And ARC is an open layer one blockchain purpose built to drive the next chapter of financial innovation, powered by stablecoins. Here is the promo video that they have. And Simon, I'm just gonna say, this makes no sense to me. Like, I have no idea why USDC needs its own native chain. And why, even if they did need their own native chain, like, I don't understand why they didn't go more in the direction of building on Base, right? Because Circle is like not owned by Base, but very heavily invested by Coinbase, and so you would just expect that they would work more hand in hand, perhaps to like make Base the native USDC network. I'm not quite so. How do you feel about this? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I think Circle is the issuer of one of the second largest stablecoin we have today, but they are not the distributor of their own stablecoin. They just issue it and basically, can similar to Tether, can monetize on the liquidity in the market. But like I said, they're not directly distributing it. Distribution partners are Coinbase or other mint partners that basically bring it into circulation, and then the activity of the actual asset of the stablecoin is largely scattered around all kinds of ecosystems, as you can trade and use USDC on all kinds of L2s on Ethereum or on the L1 as well, and obviously on Solana and on Sui and Aptos on some other chains as well. So I think the new chain now, Arc, they maybe they want to try to own their users. Not sure why, but maybe they would just want to own their end users as a part of a more resilient long-term strategy. That would be kind of one of the reasons why I think they could make that internal decisions. The question is, does the market need that? And I think that's where you get your confusion from. And I agree with you. I'm not really certain that the market needs that, right? Like, it's good for Circle, but the market needs to give a shit. Otherwise, no one's going to use your own chain, right? So yeah, I
Right.
think it's. I don't. Let's see how it goes. Right now, I can't really tell.
It's not gonna go well, man. Like, in order for
Probably
a
not.
chain to do well, you need activity and you need people building on that
Yeah.
chain. And I just don't understand why you would create your own stablecoin specific chain. So this is a tweet by Anna, who is the lead of Purina. Sorry, I'll try that again. This is a tweet by Anna, who's the founder of Purina. And the way that she puts it, as Circle's advantage is liquidity, launching a new chain is hard, feels like a reactive gesture to Tether supporting new L1s. And I 100% agree, right? From what I know about the Circle team, I actually really do respect Jeremy Allaire, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes he can be a little bit too corporate, or at least the people around him can be a little bit too corporate. And so, like, people who work in corporate environments get really spooked out when their competitors do everything. Like I used to see this in Samsung all the time. Like Apple would release a feature and like what would the Samsung executive leadership talk about the next day? It was just like, oh, okay, like how do we respond directly to this new product line that Apple has released? And then we release some sort of half-assed idea that's meant as a response to Apple's new product suite. But it's always done not as well because it's not built from a place of love and strategy, but it's built from a place of fear, right? And so that's what ARC feels like to me. It's not built from a place of like, okay, like this is what the market needs and this is what our users are asking us for, but more from the perspective of like, okay, we fear our competitor and so therefore we're going to build this. And I just, I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, 100% agree. I strongly agree with that. So I'm also quite bearish on its future. Let's see where they go. But they're not the only ones who are tinkering with layer ones. There's like actually one of the biggest companies in fintech and payments, which is Stripe, which is heavily used by all kinds of shops in the internet. They just use Stripe at checkout. Even fucking Twitter themselves use Stripe at checkout to pay for your premium X account. So Stripe is heavily embedded in lots of e-com and online shops. And now Stripe is building its own layer one chain. They already acquired Privy the other day, so there was one of a like pretty big acquisition. Because Privy is doing, user onboarding with wallet account abstraction and so on, so you can like seamlessly log into your account with Google and so on, but you create a wallet below it. So Privy makes this really easily available. So if Stripe is planning to build, consumer-focused, easy UX crypto products, they will most likely now do it on their own blockchain. Very interesting.
Yeah. So when we talk about Stripe, like, and people might wonder, like, well, what's the difference between Circle launching their own chain versus Stripe launching their own chain? Because Stripe has all the damn users, bro. Like, it makes 100% chance. It makes 100% sense that Stripe would start their own blockchain. Like, I would prefer that they do it on Solana. So bearish for us. I don't know why they didn't just choose to use Solana, but it makes sense for Stripe to do that, and you actually see the path to success because they already have two different sets of users, right? They have merchants, and then they have the people who are buying the merchant stuff, right? So they're able to solve this problem already of like who would be sending payments through the Stripe chain. Well, like it would be merchants. Now, the one thing that Stripe has not solved, and I don't know how they're going to solve, is okay, when we say a blockchain, it means that they have to have some sort of way to create these blocks in a decentralized manner. I have no fucking clue who is going to maintain, Stripe's L1. My suspicion is that it's just going to be extremely centralized. That's what I think. And nor do I think that Stripe actually wants to release a native asset, for example, like a Stripe, a $ Stripe token. So like without a Stripe token, I don't know how they're going to incentivize, let's say, Stripe validators or whatever system it is that they come up with to do this in a decentralized way. I think it will be done on chain. I just think it's going to be also be done extremely centralized. I'm very bearish on the decentralization of the Stripe blockchain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd have to do some digging to find out more on this. But I think they probably already gave a little bit of details to their blockchain, which is, by the way, called Tempo. For people that want to look it up, it's called Tempo, like the little tissues that you use to blow your nose. I don't know why they came up with that name, but I don't know if you have that in other countries, but we have Tempo. It's like a brand name for tissues. Now it's an L1 built by Stripe. No idea why the fuck they choose that name, but look it up if you want to learn more about them.
And then,
yeah, good luck to them.
And moving on to other wallet news, we have Brave rewards, which are now available for all Solana users. Starting today, users can receive BAT payouts to a self-custody Solana wallet address. Brave tokens let you earn basic attention tokens in exchange for seeing privacy-respecting ads in the browser. So essentially, like, which is like such a weird strategy, right? It's like Brave makes their money through advertisements, but people don't want to see the advertisements and try to block them. So now they have these basic attention tokens where if you watch the app advertisement, they will give you a share of the ad revenue, which is like Just a very interesting way to distribute value.
Yeah. But now they're doing it like basically now you can get your payouts on Solana. Like, so the BAT token is available on Solana. Is that how I read this?
Yeah. They self-custody payouts give users more control over their earnings. They no longer need to set up a third-party account to receive BAT every month.
Cool.
So yeah, they can receive their BAT payments on Solana. But essentially, what this is just revenue share, right? Like it's like they're already earning money through advertisements, and so now they just want to share a portion of that revenue through BAT.
Yeah, I think that was always the idea. Yeah, they did that since very early on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And moving on, this is all in Chinese, so like I'm not in. Actually, can we bring Nick on here? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Simon, we're gonna bring on our friend Nick. Hey, Nick, how are you? So, if you guys don't know, Nick has been working with Soul Brothers for a couple of months now, and he also is a native Chinese speaker. So, if you could just, and he's also helping us in the background, helping with all of the operations for Soul Brothers, like operating the podcast. He's been a great help. Nick, what the fuck does this shit say?
It's basically the same as the English translation above. So basically, this Fufu trading.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the name? Yeah, Futu International is a SFC verified. Wait, can you scroll a little bit up so I can
No, you're just
see
gonna
it?
read the English. I don't need you here, Nick. What the hell? What the fuck?
No, yeah. So basically, they have over 100 billion assets, and now they are offering for all of Solana. So if you are living in the Asia region, like Hong Kong or China, you definitely know about this as well. So right now, they also
Mm,
included Solana in the trading, and also mentioned that Solana is one of the world's biggest chain, top three in a sense.
mm, mm.
So yeah, that's a great step for Solana adoption,
W
and it's
for
going to
Solana.
afford more normies. Yep.
Could you just translate this more directly? Like, what points in this advertisement did they try to emphasize? Was it that
Yeah.
Solana is
Okay.
like a blue chip asset, or what?
So you can see the Solana. That's the first line,
Yeah.
right? Second line is all of the clients are able to trade now,
Okay.
and the
Mm,
third line
it's an announcement.
is one of the world's biggest blockchain. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. And I'm
Yep.
sorry.
That's
I hate to do this to you, but could you read it in Chinese? Actually, these two lines.
What do you mean? Yeah. Huh?
Could you
Oh,
read it in Chinese?
yeah, I can. Solana
Yeah.
全体客户开放交易，世界上大公链之一。
It's- That's fucking sick. I
wow.
love that we
That's
have a
so
Chinese
efficient.
speaker on the team
It's
now.
it's much shorter than the
It's
English
very,
translation.
yeah,
Damn,
it is.
such an efficient
Yeah,
language.
it's very short.
Cool.
Uh,
Thanks, Nick.
Okay. We'll see you soon, Nick. Love you, brother. Sorry for that, Simon.
That's so
Whenever I
funny.
see Chinese, I just think immediately about Nick. I'm like, oh, this is good to have Nick here because
Mm,
he can just tell us what's going on.
I love it.
But yeah,
I love it.
it was really interesting. I think what's even more interesting, by the way, is that this post, original post, had over 86,000 views, but like only 52 likes, which is like
Mm,
it's interesting that it actually didn't get as much. Like you look at the Solana post, but like Solana has like a completely different audience, right? Like it's a Western audience,
mm,
and so like when they
yeah.
have like 100,000 views, they garner a lot of likes because people are very happy to see Solana in China. But if you actually look at it, it looks like a lot of people are not really bullish in China. From I mean, just your general Chinese crypto user is not that bullish on an announcement like this, which is just I think a data point for people
Hmm.
to understand. Like we have a long way to go with Solana adoption in China because otherwise this should be farming like a shit ton of likes.
Hmm. Yeah. Or it's just botted. could also be a
Yeah,
possibility. Just
possible.
botted engagement.
Yeah, could be.
You
Could
never know.
be.
You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're in our Jupiter corner of the podcast, and holy shit, do we have a lot of updates?
Ooh.
Where do we even begin, Simon? Is there something you want to start with?
I mean, I think one of the biggest moves that they did, which I found really interesting, was the native stake of Sol. that they have from the JLP pool, their liquidity provisioning token, basically JLP, and using that SOL to stake on their validator to generate additional yield for JLP, right? So the rewards compound over time. You turn staking rewards into more value for JLP holders, which are already getting value from trading fees that are being shared with JLP holders from Jupiter Perps, and obviously price appreciation of BTC, of ETH, and of what else? Solana, because these assets are on Jupiter Perps. So you all also make money when these prices go up. But now you make even more money as a JLP holder because you get additional yield from idle SOL that is being staked to their validator. So I think that is actually such a no-brainer. I don't know why we didn't do this earlier. I don't know why other tokens are not doing it that fulfill a similar function. And I think it is a win-win for everyone involved, isn't it? It's really good.
Yeah. So I heard a little bit of the backstory here, and they actually have been working on SOL utilization in the JLP pool for over a year. And the issue was they were trying to do risk management for LSTs. And what we realized, what they realized is that they could just use the stake pool program directly. So instead of using JupeSol, so they were trying to find ways to integrate JupeSol into the pool. Instead of JupeSol, what they decided was just to use native SOL staking, directly into the JLP pool. So that makes a lot more sense for their specific use case. And so now they're able to get 10% yield on their SOL allocation, or excuse me, like around 7 to 8% yield on their SOL allocation. And that just means that, more bullish things for JLP holders.
That's good. That's good to know. I like that. So yeah, that was one of the news that definitely were super interesting to see, I think, out of Jupiter. But then also they did some updates to Jupiter Send, didn't they? Like Jupiter Send has been already available on Jupiter Mobile since probably more than 2-3 months now. Jupiter Send allows you to create a very easy to use link that you can, give to your friends, and they don't even need to have a wallet yet to, for example, receive the crypto you wanted to send them. They can click that link and they will be prompted to, download Jupiter Mobile. And once they did that, they will receive the money you sent them. So very, easy way to send money. But what's the news now, because Jupiter Send has been out? Why is it on my timeline again?
I actually don't understand why this is on my timeline again either. To be completely honest with you, if anything, I almost feel like this
because
is
on
a
desktop.
It's on desktop now. Is that what it is? Okay, you teed me up for that, and I didn't understand. Okay, now available on both web and mobile. So this is on desktop. Wait, this was okay. What do you mean it wasn't on desktop before? I see. So looking at these screenshots, you can go over to the actual Jupiter web app and then send in this way. Okay. So now they've included Jupiter Send inside of the desktop application. Nice.
Yep.
And I don't know who made this video, but their video game is so sick.
Yeah, probably Goldfish.
Usually when people say that they have a surprise for you, this always makes me a little scared. Is it a dick pic? Or is it $100 USDC?
Okay, this man made some very bad experiences with surprises, as we can tell. Don't surprise you, you might wake up some childhood trauma. So
I'm gonna send you a hot dog pic later. So moving on to our other sponsor, SNS. Absolutely love the Solana name service team, and they have just wrapped up their LFG campaign. Congratulations to the SNS team. So I think the most interesting stat for the LFG campaign is that there were over 100,000 participants for LFG. And yeah, I know it's absolutely great that they had so many people join. And I know that before the time ran out, I bought as many SNS domains as possible because you'll have to remember they had this campaign where it was just any SNS domain over 10 characters was only $1. So yeah, I probably have an unreasonable amount of SNS domains now.
But I think, you can, the campaign is closed. You can check the dots you accumulated, and you have to wait for the next steps because right now on the airdrop page, which is airdrop.sns.id. You can see that the airdrop number 1 is concluded, which was 20% of the total supply, and the airdrop number 2 is now in process. So it's pending distribution. So just stay tuned for the updates here. Make sure to follow SNS on Twitter to check if you collected some dots. You need to wait for the announcement that the distribution of the SNS tokens, where you can basically claim your airdrop from your dots, is open. So yeah, just stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So congratulations to the entire SNS team, and very bullish on everybody who participated in the LFG campaign. There's also some really interesting insights that we can get from this month. There were over 430,000 new .sol domains that were registered, 8 new partnerships, including Orbor AI, EnsoFi, Mad Lads. The LFG campaign has wrapped, and of course, there's a bunch of new merch that's being launched from .sol. Hopefully, they also come up with more athletic wear. What's really interesting is the top domain. So one is roaringkitty.sol. So anybody who is a GameStop investor or knows anything about the GameStop saga, the man, the myth, the legend that made all of that happen is a man that goes by the name of Roaring Kitty. So that apparently sold for 20K USD. I have no idea if that's actually him, but yeah, that did sell. There's also we.sol, as well as 1x-bit.sol. So yeah, again, major congratulations to everybody who participated in the months of July and August.
We.sol is great as well. Just we. Why not? Why not pay 10K for that?
Maybe it's on.
Moving on.
Might be owned.
What's that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I mean, like maybe owned by Dr. PP. It's possible.
Oh my god. Plausible.
Yeah.
All right,
also, I don't know why this is in our agenda, but Eric Trump says buy the dips, right? So there's Bitcoin as well as Ethereum. I don't know who's listening to Eric Trump on anything. I feel really sad for him, quite frankly. I feel like crypto is the only thing that he has. I really feel for you, bro. Your dad's an asshole and he doesn't like you.
But it's good to have him as a KOL for crypto, isn't it? I mean, like who else do you want? Like the son of the U.S. president. It's a good opinion leader that we need in crypto to kind of rally the troops. So I guess it's okay. Could be worse. I think I'd rather have him bull post BTC and ETH than not.
Yeah, but his opinion is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Like out of all the Trump children, Ivanka, Donald Trump Jr., Eric. Like I don't know if you're aware of this, but like Eric is very much seen as like the most incompetent of all the Trump children. And so it's just like, at least as an American, I'm all like, okay, if Ivanka was bullish on Trump, that means something. Like if Donald Trump Jr. Is bullish on crypto, then that means something. But if Eric Trump is bullish on crypto, sell immediately. Top signal.
Maybe it was a top signal. Like, let's hope it wasn't, but maybe it was. But there's a bit more drama on the timeline, related to Finbags. What happened there?
Yeah, so I think before we talk about Finbags, we need to zoom out and just talk about a campaign from MrBeast called Team Water. Do you remember a campaign, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, called Team Trees, where he raised like millions and millions of dollars to plant trees all around the world?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he pulled off this really huge stunt where he raised like millions and millions of dollars to plant trees all around the world. And now he did the exact same thing for water, right? And so now that we live in a crypto age, there's a lot of folks that are donating a bunch of money so that MrBeast can buy a bunch of water for the global south or anywhere that needs it. And one of the people that was the person that was donating the most money was actually Finn. Who is the founder of the Bags app. So Bags is one of these token launchpads that is competing on Solana against Bonk Fun as well as Pump. And there was a token called MrBeast on Solana, and 100% of the royalties would fund MrBeast's clean water campaign for Africa. And Finn had donated all these fees to MrBeast. I think at the end of it all, it was like close to $120,000. And then they got him on stream to talk about anything related to the MrBeast token or even like the water token. When they got him on the stream, he froze up and he didn't say anything. All he said was, "There's a big water community on X." And I'm pretty sure what happened is that he just got stage fright. He got like super nervous. I feel super bad for him. Like I've been there before where you have this really big moment and the adrenaline is running very high and like you've just donated like $100,000. But yeah, they got him on stream and he didn't even like mention any of the tokens that made it possible for him to donate this money, which included water as well as like MrBeast, and both of those tokens just like dropped by 80% because Finn fumbled the bag. So there's a lot of people online who have just been clowning the shit out of him and saying that he's a fucking retard because he didn't properly pump or even talk about those projects, and so there's a lot of people who are pretty pissed at him.
Yep. Proper drama on the timeline. We saw it before. It always happens with these kind of tokens, like dangerous waters, as someone, who involves himself like MrBeast with these things. You got to navigate very carefully. You get a lot of backslash. But, I guess attention is attention. He got some attention. Finback's got some attention as well through this whole drama. Yes, it was quite negative because the token, exploded to 7 million market cap in an hour, had like 30 million of volume. So it looked pretty good. But prices tanked over 80% after that live stream, where he didn't mention what people wanted him to mention. And obviously everyone just got fucking angry at him. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We've seen it before.
And I think the last update that we're going to bring up for this week is that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is about to give a speech next week on the Fed's policy framework. And I am really interested what he's going to talk about. Most people are speculating like it's just a rate cut. What is much more about macro than I do. So like, what is your sense of what Jerome is going to be talking about?
Yeah, I think it's going to be mainly, that's what everyone is waiting for. Everyone is waiting for any kind of hints that hint towards further rate cuts. Trump obviously pushes him a lot to kind of say things in that matter as well. So what I'm expecting is a lot of back and forth and kind of, talk, a lot of talk. And then there will be like one or two hints that will actually signal further rate cuts. I expect there will be further rate cuts as well. So might be a catalyst. So people expect some volatility this week, yet again, with all these events, including Zelensky meeting today, and then the Powell speech, I believe, on Wednesday, but I might be wrong on that. So at sometime this week, Powell, steps on stage. So that might provide some further volatility as well.
I see. Well, that will do it for this week's Soul Brother podcast. Thank you for everyone who joins like every Monday. Actually, we got a really helpful comment from Fwog who said that Finn was told that he couldn't talk about crypto when he got on the stream. That makes so much more sense. Like why he wouldn't be able to talk about it. Like probably from what I'm guessing, he probably would like you know how it is. Like he was probably told like maybe a minute or a few seconds before he got onto stream, and so you could imagine this kind of like conflict in his head where he's like being told quite directly like, we understand that you just donated like $100,000, but like we just can't have you talking about crypto here because most of this shit is scam, which is fair enough, right? But then as a person who just donated $100,000 and has all this adrenaline running through your body, it's like, okay, what the fuck do I say? So it's like, what else can you say except for there's a community on X that really supports water? It's just kind of like, of course.
Yeah. I mean, he tried. Let's put it that way. He tried.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about, my friend, or is that it for this week's podcast?
That is a wrap. So thank you everyone for tuning in to Sol Brothers yet again. We gave you the 360-degree roundhouse kick of news in the Solana ecosystem and some market updates as well. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in again when it's time for another Sol Brothers EP next week as well. We're always live streaming these recordings, so you can catch us on YouTube and on Twitter every Monday around 8:30 a.m. UTC. You can catch us in the live as well, but don't mind if you can't, because you can also check YouTube, Twitter, and our podcast channels for all the content that we print out every single week. So thanks for being part of this. We hope you will survive this week in crypto yet again. Stay safe out there. It stays volatile, and we catch you at the next one. Peace out.
Bye.